chosen one, what you did made heaven scream, even angels froze. You gave when you had nothing left. Heaven screamed. Listen closely, because if you let this pass, you may miss the very moment your breakthrough begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. You reached a place where your strength was gone, your heart was heavy, and still you chose to give, and that single act shook the heavens in a way you cannot yet see. This is not a small thing. This is not something that goes unnoticed, and this is why you must stay with these words until the end. What you did carried a weight that echoed beyond your situation, beyond your pain, and into the very presence of God. When you gave with nothing left, you stepped into a level of faith that very few ever reach, and heaven responded. Type Amen if you agree. You thought it was just a quiet moment, a simple decision made in a place of struggle, but it was far more than that. You were being watched, not by people, but by angels who stood still in awe of what you chose to do. When everything inside you wanted to hold back, you opened your hand anyway, and that is why heaven screamed. It screamed not in anger, but in recognition of a heart that mirrors the very nature of God. You gave when you were empty, and in that moment, you became a living reflection of divine love. There are things being set in motion right now that you cannot yet see with your eyes. Doors that seemed locked are beginning to loosen, and paths that felt blocked are quietly being cleared. This is why your spirit felt something shift, even if your circumstances still look the same. What you did activated something that goes beyond logic, beyond effort, and beyond human understanding. Heaven does not ignore sacrifice that comes from a place of pure surrender. Take a second and show your faith by liking this video, because your support helps this reach someone else who is standing on the edge of giving up and needs this reminder right now. You may have wondered why your life has felt so intense, why your tests have felt heavier than others, and why your giving has often come with pain. It is because you are not ordinary, and your journey is not random. You were placed in moments like this because your response would carry power. When you chose to give, even when you felt broken, you passed a test that many fail without even realizing it. This is why heaven did not stay silent. This is why angels froze, because what you did was rare. There are blessings that only respond to this level of faith, and you have stepped into that space. Not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. Not because you had abundance, but because you trusted God more than your lack. This is the kind of trust that moves mountains quietly before they ever fall. It is the kind of obedience that opens doors before you even knock on them. Type 777 if you trust God. You felt alone in that moment, like no one understood the weight you were carrying. But you were never alone, not for a second. God was watching, not to test you in a harsh way, but to witness the depth of your heart. And when you gave, something inside heaven shifted toward you. There are rewards that do not come instantly, but when they come, they arrive in ways that change everything. Do not think that your giving was wasted or that it went unnoticed. There are things being prepared for you that will not make sense until the right moment arrives. This is how God works, not always loud at first, but always precise. What you released from your hand is returning in a form that will carry far more than what you let go of. This is not just about material things. This is about restoration, peace, and a level of favor that cannot be taken away. You have carried burdens quietly, without complaining, without seeking attention, and still you chose to act with kindness and generosity. That is why this moment matters so deeply. Heaven responds differently to people who give from abundance compared to those who give from emptiness. You gave from emptiness, and that is what made angels stop and look. It was not the size of what you gave, it was the condition of your heart when you gave it. There is a shift happening within you right now, even as you listen to these words. You may feel it as a calm, or a sudden sense of reassurance, or even a quiet strength rising again. That is not random, that is God reminding you that you are seen. You are not forgotten, and your story is not overlooked. What you did placed you in alignment with something greater than your current situation. You are about to understand why that moment mattered so much. You are about to see connections form that you did not expect, and help arrive in ways that surprise you. This is not because of luck, but because of obedience. You moved when it was hardest, and that movement unlocked something powerful. Even now, things are being arranged in your favor behind the scenes. You may still be standing in the same place physically, but spiritually, you have already moved forward. There is a shift in your path that has already begun, even if it has not yet fully shown itself in your surroundings. This is why you feel a quiet pull, a sense that something is changing beneath the surface. That is not your imagination, that is the result of what you did. When you gave with nothing left, you aligned yourself with a higher flow that cannot be stopped. What if the real reason most manifestation methods do not work has finally been explained? A top neuroscientist linked to CIA research says without the right brainwave, results stay inconsistent. This 7-second ritual, supported by 4 neuroscience labs, is helping people approach money differently and improve their direction. Many are now stepping into dream homes, buying luxury cars, and enjoying luxury vacations they once thought were out of reach. But this information might not stay available online. Click the link in the description and comments before it gets removed. There are people who wait until they feel secure before they give, and there are those who give even when they feel uncertain. You chose the harder path, and that is why your reward will not look ordinary. Heaven does not respond the same way to every action. It responds according to the depth of faith behind it. And your faith, even in that fragile moment, spoke louder than words ever could. It told heaven that you trust God beyond what you can see. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. There is something being restored in your life that you thought was permanently lost. It may not come back in the same form, but it will return in a way that brings more peace and stability than before. This is how divine restoration works. It does not just replace, it transforms. What you released is making space for something greater to enter. And when it arrives, you will understand why you had to let go in the first place. Do not let doubt creep in and tell you that your act of giving was foolish. Do not let fear whisper that you made a mistake. Those thoughts do not come from truth. They come from a place that cannot understand faith. What you did was seen, honored, and recorded in a way that will speak for you when you need it most. There are moments ahead where doors will open for you without explanation, and it will be because of what you did in silence. You are stepping into a season where things will begin to respond to you differently. Opportunities will feel drawn to you, not because you chased them, but because you positioned yourself through obedience. People will notice something about you that they cannot fully explain. It is the presence of someone who has chosen to trust God even when it hurt. That kind of presence carries weight, and it creates movement around you. There were times you felt like giving up completely, like you had nothing more to offer, nothing more to give. But even in that state, you chose to act with love instead of fear. That decision has placed a mark on your life, not a visible one, but a spiritual one. It is a mark of trust, a mark of surrender, and a mark of alignment with God's will. And because of that, You will not be left without reward. You are being prepared for something that requires the exact kind of heart you showed. This is not random, this is intentional. The moment you thought was just another struggle was actually a doorway into something greater. And now that you have stepped through it, there is no going back to where you were before. You have crossed into a new level of understanding, even if you are still catching up to it mentally. There are blessings that cannot be given to someone who has not learned how to trust in lack. You have learned that lesson not through comfort, but through experience. And because of that, what is coming to you will not destroy you or overwhelm you. You will know how to handle it because you have already proven that your heart remains steady even in difficult times. That is why heaven responded so strongly to your action. Type yes to receive miracles. There is a quiet strength growing inside you right now, one that is not loud or obvious, but deeply rooted. It is the kind of strength that allows you to keep moving even when you feel tired. It is the kind that helps you hold on even when everything around you feels uncertain. This strength is not something you created on your own. It is something that has been built within you through every test you have faced, and now it is becoming part of how you move forward. You will begin to notice small signs that things are shifting in your favor. It may start with a conversation, a new idea, or an unexpected opportunity. Pay attention to those moments because they are not random. They are the first signs of what has already been set in motion. And as you continue to walk forward, those small signs will grow into something much bigger. There is also healing taking place within you, even in areas you have not fully acknowledged. The act of giving when you had nothing left broke something off of you that had been holding you back. It released a weight that you did not even realize you were carrying. And now you are lighter in a way that will allow you to move more freely into what is ahead. This is part of the transformation that began the moment you chose to give. You are not the same person you were before that moment. Something inside you has shifted, something has awakened. You may not have the words to explain it, but you can feel it. That feeling is the beginning of a new phase in your life. A phase where your actions will carry more impact, where your words will carry more weight, and where your presence will begin to open doors that once felt closed. Do not rush this process, and do not try to control how everything unfolds. Trust the same way you trusted when you gave. That trust is what will carry you through the next steps. You do not need to see the entire path to know that it is leading you somewhere good. You only need to stay aligned with what you have already shown, and everything else will follow. The truth is, many people give when it is easy, but very few give when it hurts. Very few continue to act with kindness when their own needs are not being met. And that is what made your moment so powerful. You stepped beyond human instinct and into divine alignment. That is why angels froze, because what you did reflected the very heart of God in its purest form. You may still be wondering when things will change on the outside. You may be looking around, hoping to see immediate results, hoping for a clear sign. But understand this, the greatest shifts often begin in places you cannot see. Just like a seed buried in the ground, your act is already growing. And when it breaks through, it will not be small or unnoticed. Have you heard about the private group of neuroscientists working on brain waves connected to money? A top researcher revealed this work was based on CIA studies not meant for public release yet. The result is a simple 7-second ritual validated by 4 neuroscience labs, now practiced at home. Many who once struggled financially are now living in dream homes, owning luxury cars, and taking luxury vacations. But this page could disappear without warning. Click the link in the description and comments before it vanishes. There are things being arranged right now that you could not have planned on your own. Conversations are forming, opportunities are lining up, and paths are being cleared. You are not chasing these things, they are being drawn toward you. This is what happens when you move in true faith. You do not have to force what is already being prepared for you. Type 222 to claim miracles. You were tested in a way that exposed your true nature, not for punishment, but for revelation. God already knew your heart, but now your actions have spoken it into existence. You proved that even in your lowest moment, you still choose love over fear. And that choice has power that continues to move long after the moment has passed. There is also something important you must understand about that giving. It was not just about what you gave, it was about what you let go of internally. You released fear, you released control, and you released the need to protect yourself at all costs. In doing that, you created space for something greater to enter your life. That space is now being filled with peace, direction, and unexpected favor. You may start to notice that your mindset is changing without effort. Things that once worried you will begin to lose their hold on your thoughts. Situations that once felt overwhelming will begin to feel manageable. This is not coincidence, this is transformation. It is the result of aligning your actions with a deeper trust in God's plan. There is also a restoration happening in your confidence. Not a loud or proud confidence, but a quiet certainty that you are being guided. You may not have all the answers yet, but you feel a sense of direction that was not there before. That is because your spirit is now more in tune with what God is doing in your life. And as that connection strengthens, your path will become clearer. Type 1111 if you believe. You have walked through moments where you felt unseen, unheard, and even forgotten. But that was never the truth. It was only how it felt in the moment. What you did has proven that your value is not based on your circumstances. Your worth is rooted in who you are at your core. And now that has been revealed in a way that cannot be taken away. There are also people who will begin to recognize something different about you. They may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. It is the presence of someone who has been refined through struggle and still chooses to act with grace. That presence carries influence, even without words, and it will open doors that effort alone could never open. You are also being protected in ways you cannot see. There are things that could have gone wrong that have quietly been redirected. There are situations you were not even aware of that have been handled before reaching you. This is part of what happens when you align yourself with God's will. Protection becomes a natural part of your journey. Do not let impatience cause you to lose sight of what is happening. Everything is unfolding in the right timing, even if it feels slow. The process you are in is preparing you for something that requires strength and clarity, and that preparation cannot be rushed. Trust that every step is leading you exactly where you need to be. There is also an increase in awareness that will continue to grow within you. You will begin to notice things more clearly, understand situations more deeply, and respond with greater wisdom. This is not something you have to force, it is something that is developing naturally. It is part of the growth that began when you chose to give. You may also find that certain things no longer feel right for you. Environments, conversations, or habits that once felt normal may now feel out of place. This is a sign that you are evolving. You are moving into a space that requires a different level of alignment. And as you continue forward, you will naturally leave behind what no longer fits. There is a sense of renewal that is beginning to take shape in your life. It may not be fully visible yet, but it is there. It is in the way you think, the way you respond, and the way you see your future. That renewal is not temporary, It is the beginning of a lasting change, and it will continue to unfold in ways that bring clarity and peace. You are not walking into uncertainty, even if it feels that way. You are walking into a path that has already been prepared. Every step you take is being guided, even when it does not feel obvious. And as you continue to move forward, you will begin to see just how carefully everything has been arranged for you. It declared that your faith is not controlled by your circumstances. It declared that your heart remains open even when life feels closed around you. And that declaration reached heaven with a force that cannot be ignored. You may not have realized it, but that single act separated you from a level you once stood on. You cannot return to who you were before that moment because something inside you has been awakened. You crossed a line that many hesitate to approach, and now that you have crossed it, you are walking in a different dimension of trust. This is why things will begin to respond to you differently. There are unseen forces that move when true faith is expressed, not loud or dramatic in the beginning, but steady and precise. Your action activated movement that is already reshaping certain outcomes in your life. Things that seemed fixed are now flexible. Situations that looked final are now being rewritten in ways you could not predict. Type 1010 to receive blessings. Is it really possible to attract money more naturally using a 7-second ritual? Research connected to the CIA suggests certain brainwave states influence how opportunities appear in your life. This technique, proven by 4 neuroscience labs, is helping people shift away from financial pressure toward improved lifestyles. Many are now stepping into dream homes, driving luxury cars, and enjoying luxury vacations. But this information may not remain online for long. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. You must also understand that what you did was not about proving something to God. It was about revealing something within yourself. God did not need your giving, but your spirit needed that moment of release. It needed to break free from the grip of fear and limitation. And now that it has, you are no longer bound in the same way. There are chains that quietly broke off of you in that moment. Not physical chains, but internal ones that held your thinking, your emotions, and your sense of possibility. You may not have noticed it instantly, but over time, you will begin to feel the difference. You will think more freely, act more boldly, and trust more deeply. That is the freedom that was unlocked through your obedience. There is also a shift happening in how you will receive. Before, you may have felt like you had to struggle for every step forward. But now, things will begin to flow toward you in a different way. Not without effort, but without the same level of resistance. This is because you have aligned yourself with a higher order, and when you align, things begin to cooperate with you instead of working against you. Type 2222 to receive miracles. You may begin to notice that certain doors open unexpectedly, not because you forced them, but because the timing has shifted in your favor. This is the result of what you did when no one else was watching. That quiet moment has now created visible outcomes, and as those outcomes begin to appear, you will understand that nothing was wasted. There are also relationships in your life that will begin to change. Some will grow stronger, while others may naturally fade away. This is not something to fear, it is part of your alignment. As you step into a new level, everything around you adjusts accordingly. And the connections that remain will be those that support where you are going. You are also being prepared for a level of responsibility that matches what is coming. What is being placed in your hands will require wisdom, patience, and clarity. And that is why you had to go through what you went through. It was not to break you, but to shape you. It was not to empty you, but to prepare you to be filled in a greater way. There is a quiet confidence that will continue to grow within you. It will not come from external validation, but from an inner knowing that you are being guided. That confidence will allow you to move forward without hesitation. It will help you make decisions with peace instead of fear. And it will keep you steady even when things around you are uncertain. You are also entering a time where your voice will carry more weight. What you say will begin to influence situations in a way it did not before. This is not about control, but about alignment. When your heart is aligned with God, your words begin to reflect that alignment. And those words carry power. Do not underestimate the importance of what you did. It was not a small moment, and it will not lead to small results. The impact of that action will continue to unfold over time. And as it does, you will see just how far-reaching it truly was. What felt like a sacrifice will reveal itself as a seed. There are also blessings that will come in forms you did not expect. Not always in the way you imagined, but in the way you truly need. This is because God sees beyond your current understanding. And what is being prepared for you is designed to support your growth, not just your comfort. It is meant to elevate you, not just satisfy you. You may also find that your perspective on life is changing. Things that once seemed important may no longer hold the same value. And things that you once overlooked may now feel significant. This is part of your transformation. It is a sign that you are seeing with new eyes. There is also a deeper sense of peace that will begin to settle within you, not because everything is perfect, but because you know you are not alone. That peace will guide you through moments of uncertainty. It will remind you that even when you do not understand everything, you are still on the right path. You are moving into a space where your actions and your purpose are becoming more aligned. What you do will begin to feel more meaningful, and the steps you take will begin to connect in ways that make sense over time. This is not random, it is intentional. It is the unfolding of something that has been prepared for you. You must understand that heaven does not measure your actions the way the world does. The world looks at size, at appearance, at what is visible on the surface. But heaven looks at the condition of your heart at the moment you act. And your heart, in that moment, was open despite the pain. That is why heaven responded the way it did, because what you did could not be imitated or forced. It was real, and it carried a purity that cannot be ignored. There is something unfolding right now that is directly connected to that moment. It may not be obvious yet, but it is forming quietly. Paths that once felt scattered are beginning to align. Pieces that did not seem to fit are starting to come together in ways that will soon make sense to you. This is not coincidence. This is the result of your obedience meeting divine timing. Type yes to receive miracles. What if most people struggle financially because they never activate a specific brainwave? Leading neuroscientists point to CIA-linked research that highlights this missing link. This 7-second ritual, backed by 4 neuroscience labs, is helping people rethink their financial habits and improve outcomes. Many are now moving into dream homes, owning luxury cars, and traveling on luxury vacations. But this page might be taken down soon. Click the link in the description and comments before it is removed. You may have asked yourself why you had to go through such a heavy moment in the first place. Why things had to reach that point where you felt like you had nothing left. But the truth is, that moment revealed something about you that could not have been revealed any other way. It showed that your faith is not dependent on your comfort. It showed that your spirit remains willing even when your body feels weak. There are people who walk away when things become difficult. There are people who close their hearts to protect themselves from further pain. But you did not do that. You remained open, and that openness is what allowed heaven to respond so powerfully. It is not easy to stay open when you feel drained, but that is exactly what you did. And that is why your story is shifting. There is a new level of clarity that will begin to come to you, not all at once, but step by step. You will start to understand why certain things happened the way they did. You will begin to see connections that you could not see before. And as that clarity grows, so will your confidence in the path ahead. You will no longer feel as uncertain as you once did. There is also a strengthening happening within your spirit. It is subtle, but it is steady. You may notice that you are able to handle situations differently than before. You may find yourself responding with calm where you once reacted with stress. This is not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. And that change began the moment you chose to give. Type 1111 to affirm. You are entering a phase where your resilience will begin to show in new ways. Challenges may still come, but they will not affect you in the same way. You will move through them with a sense of steadiness that was not there before. This is because you have already faced one of your deepest tests and remained true to who you are. That experience has strengthened you in ways that cannot be undone. There are also opportunities that will begin to present themselves in ways you did not expect. They may come through people, through ideas, or through moments that seem ordinary at first. But do not overlook them, because they are part of what has been set in motion. Pay attention to what feels aligned, what feels right in your spirit. That inner sense will guide you. You may also notice that your priorities are shifting. Things that once felt urgent may no longer feel as important, and things that you once overlooked may now feel meaningful. This is a sign that your perspective is changing. You are beginning to see life through a different lens, one that is shaped by your experience and your growth. There is also a sense of renewal that will continue to unfold within you. It is not something that happens overnight, but it is something that builds over time. You will feel moments of peace that seem to come without reason. You will feel a quiet assurance that you are moving in the right direction. These moments are reminders that you are not alone. You must also remember that what you did was not just for that moment. It created a ripple that continues to move outward. That ripple is touching areas of your life that you cannot yet see. It is influencing outcomes, shifting circumstances, and preparing the way for what is ahead. Nothing about that moment was wasted. There is also a deeper connection forming between you and God. It is not based on words, but on experience. You have felt what it means to trust when it is difficult. You have lived through a moment that required you to lean on something greater than yourself, and that experience has brought you closer in a way that cannot be taken away. You are also being guided more than you realize. There are decisions you will make that will feel natural, but they will carry significance. There are steps you will take that will seem small, but they will lead to something greater. This is how guidance often works, not always loud or obvious, but steady and consistent. There is still more unfolding, more growth, and more understanding ahead of you. You are not at the end of this journey. You are in the middle of something that is still taking shape. And, as it continues to unfold, you will see more clearly how that one moment of giving has influenced everything that is now happening in your life. There are layers of your life that are being rearranged quietly. Some things are being removed, not as a loss, but as preparation. Other things are being positioned, not as coincidence, but as alignment. You may not understand every shift right now, but in time it will become clear. Everything is moving with purpose, even the parts that feel uncertain. Type 777 to affirm your belief. You are also stepping into a deeper awareness of your own value, not the kind that depends on what you have or what others think, but the kind that is rooted in who you are. That awareness will begin to influence how you move, how you speak, and how you make decisions. You will no longer settle for things that do not align with your growth. You will begin to choose with clarity instead of confusion. There is also a quiet authority growing within you. It is not loud or demanding, but it is steady and undeniable. It comes from knowing that you have faced something difficult and remained true. That kind of authority does not need to prove itself, it simply exists. And as it grows, others will begin to sense it, even if they cannot explain it. How are people moving from financial stress to more comfortable lifestyles so quickly? A CIA-linked study suggests a simple 7-second brain ritual may influence how people respond to opportunities. Supported by 4 neuroscience labs, this method is helping individuals improve daily life. Many are now stepping into dream homes, upgrading to luxury cars, and taking luxury vacations. But this page could be deleted at any time. Click the link in the description and comments before it disappears. You may also begin to notice that your patience is increasing. Things that once frustrated you may no longer carry the same weight. This is because you are beginning to trust the process more deeply. You understand, even if only slightly, that everything is unfolding in its own time. And that understanding brings a sense of calm that was not there before. There are also answers coming to questions you have held for a long time.